After I gave up my career to move home and take care of my dying mother, my younger sister took over her power of attorney. One morning, I woke up to an email. "You've been removed from the estate. We're selling the house. You have 10 days. I called her, screaming. She whispered, "You were just a help." But when I found Mom's real will in a folder marked emergency, everything. My name's Amanda. I'm 42. I had a life in Chicago. A real one. I worked in logistics for a mid-sized shipping company. I'd been there over a decade. It wasn't glamorous, but I made good money. I had my own condo. Friends. A routine. I didn't expect life to shift so suddenly. Then the call came. "Your mom's cancer came back. It's terminal this time. She's refusing more treatment." I didn't ask questions. I just packed. I gave my notice at work. I put my condo up for rent. I said goodbye to everything I built. Because she was my mom. She lived in our childhood home in Springfield, Missouri. That old craftsman-style house she refused to sell. I hadn't lived there since I was 18. But I drove back and moved into the guest bedroom the same weekend. She needed full-time care. Not just a daily check-in. She was already weak. She could barely walk to the bathroom on her own. She needed someone who would be there 24/7. So I became that person. Jenna, my little sister, still lived in town. She'd married her high school sweetheart, had 2 kids, and was busy with soccer practices and book clubs. I figured we'd tag team Mom's care. Share the load. Nope. Jenna came by twice a week at best. Usually with cold coffee or banana bread. She'd sit for maybe 40 minutes, scroll her phone, then say she had to get back to the chaos. Meanwhile, I was bathing Mom. Changing adult diapers. Cleaning up vomit at 3 a.m. Arguing with hospice over prescriptions. I did it all. And I did it because I loved her. I didn't expect a thank you. I thought Jenna appreciated it too. But then one afternoon, Jenna shows up with this lawyer. Some guy in a cheap suit. Says she brought him. Just to help out. And make sure everything was in order. She talked fast. Said she wanted to get paperwork out of the way. In case things turn bad fast. "Let's keep things easy," she said. "Just sign this." Mom was tired. High on morphine. She barely knew what day it was. I should have stopped it. But I didn't. I trusted Jenna. Mom signed the power of attorney paperwork. 3 weeks later she died. She passed away quietly in her sleep, just after sunrise. I was sitting right there. I held her hand and cried while her chest stopped rising. It was the worst day of my life. We had a small funeral. Jenna cried loudly and talked about how close they were. Her kids whined the whole time. I stood by the coffin and stayed silent. Afterwards, Jenna hugged me. "Stay here as long as you need," she said. Mom would have wanted that. For the first time, I let myself relax. I thought the worst was behind us. Then, 2 weeks later, I got the email. Subject line, estate notification. It was cold. Like a business memo. Said I'd been removed from Mom's estate. Jenna was the executor. The house was being sold. I had 10 days to leave. I froze. I read it over and over. My chest got tight. I called her. She picked up on the 3rd ring. "I'm at Tanner's soccer game," she whispered. "What the hell is this?" I asked. She paused. Then said it like she was spitting the words. "You were just a help." Then she hung up. I stared at the phone in my hand, shaking. I'd given up my life for Mom. I held her hand while she died. I cleaned her blood and bile. Jenna posted selfies and disappeared. And now she was taking the house? I tore through Mom's bedroom. I don't know what I was looking for. Maybe old papers, some clue. Something that would tell me this was a mistake. I opened her closet. There was a drawer she always told us to leave alone. I yanked it open. Inside was a folder labeled, "Emergency," in red marker. My hands were sweating. Inside that folder, under some bank forms and a birth certificate, was a thin manila envelope. I pulled it out. Opened it. Last will and testament, Carolyn Diane Mercer. It was signed. Stamped. Notarized. It was dated months before Jenna showed up with her lawyer. In this will, Mom left everything to me. She called me a devoted daughter who sacrificed her own life to care for me. She said she wanted me to have the house, and everything inside it. She named me as executor. I sat there on the carpet and cried. Then I took a deep breath and called a lawyer. Bruce was a retired tax attorney in town. Kind of a local legend. He had helped Mom with taxes years ago. I called him and asked if he remembered her. He did. I emailed him everything. He called me back within 24 hours. First, he said, you're not crazy. Second, this will look solid. Jenna had filed a newer will with the court. One that gave her everything. But Bruce noticed something strange. The signature didn't match Mom's signature on any of her medical records or prior legal documents. Bruce got serious. He said we needed a handwriting expert. He had someone. While that happened, I made copies. Dozens of them. I stored them in my glove box, emailed them to myself, backed them up everywhere. I wasn't taking chances. I didn't tell Jenna anything. Let her think I was still grieving. Let her think I was packing. Let her think I was weak. 10 days later, she came with a real estate agent. Walked into Mom's house like she owned it. Didn't say a word to me. The agent looked around, said, "Are you ready to move out by Friday?" Jenna smiled like a damn movie villain. "She'll be gone." I smiled back. "We'll see." The next morning, Bruce filed an emergency motion with the court. We served Jenna at her front door. I wasn't there to see it. But I heard she cried. Good. We had a court date set 3 weeks out. I spent those 3 weeks cleaning the house, fixing small things, making it feel like home again. I also spent those 3 weeks preparing for war. 3 days before the court date, I got a call from Jenna's husband, Greg. I hadn't spoken to him in over a year. He said, "Can we meet?" "Just you and me." I didn't want to. But something in his voice made me say yes. We met at a diner off Highway 65, the kind with greasy eggs and burnt coffee. He looked worse than I expected, dark circles under his eyes, hands shaking. He didn't waste time. "She forged it," he said. I didn't say anything. "She brought that lawyer over when your mom was already doped up. Said she'd fix everything. She told me she deserved the house because she was the one who gave Mom grandkids." "She said you'd leave anyway?" I stared at him. "And you let her?" "I didn't know she faked a will," he said. "Not until last week. I found it on her laptop. She signed it herself with a template she downloaded." I sat back. My hands felt cold. Greg slid a flash drive across the table. "It's all on here. Emails. The draft. Even a PDF where she practiced Mom's signature." I took it. "Why are you doing this?" He looked down. "Because I'm divorcing her. And because what she did is sick." Bruce was thrilled. We now had hard proof Jenna not only forged the will, but saved drafts of it on her computer. Greg agreed to testify. The day of court, Jenna came in dressed like a politician. Full makeup, fake smile, heels too tall for the courthouse floor. She still thought she could charm her way out of this. She was wrong. Bruce laid it all out. The expert testified that the signature on Jenna's version was shaky, inconsistent, and likely forged. Then Greg took the stand. He told the judge everything. The emails. The drafts. The file names like final_will_Jenna version. Jenna's lawyer tried to object, but it was useless. The judge allowed everything in. Then Bruce played a voicemail Mom left me 6 months before she died. She sounded tired but clear. "I want you to have the house, Amanda. You gave up everything. That other one barely shows up." I watched Jenna's face twist like a rope. Then she did something I never expected. She stood up and shouted. "She manipulated Mom! She poisoned her against me! She was always the victim!" The judge slammed his gavel and told her to sit down. She started crying. Loudly. No one comforted her. That night, before the judge made a ruling, Jenna showed up at the house. She banged on the front door at 10 p.m. I didn't answer. She sat on the porch and screamed. "I needed this! You don't understand! You always get away with everything!" I called the cops. When they showed up, she told them she just needed to talk to her sister. They told her to leave or face trespassing charges. She left. But I didn't sleep that night. Because I knew she wasn't done. 2 days later, I got a notice from the city. Someone had filed a claim that I was illegally living in the house and that it was an unsafe property. They sent a city inspector. He looked confused when he walked in and saw the place spotless, organized, updated. He asked, "Are you in a feud or something?" I told him yes. He laughed. "Thought so. People pull this crap all the time. Don't worry, we're clearing the claim." She was getting desperate. And I knew I had to be ready for anything. Because I wasn't just fighting for the house anymore. I was fighting to make sure she never got away with anything again. Just when I thought she couldn't stoop any lower, Jenna found a new angle. 3 days after the city inspector left, I checked my credit report on a whim. I don't even know why. I hadn't touched my accounts since moving back from Chicago. But something felt off. And it was. Someone had opened 2 credit cards in my name. One was maxed out at $5,000. The other had a cash advance taken the same day it was opened. Both listed the billing address as my mother's house, the one I was living in. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling sick. I hadn't opened anything new. I hadn't even used my old cards in weeks. I called the fraud department. They confirmed what I feared. Both cards were applied for online. IP address traced to a local internet provider. One tied to Jenna's account. I filed a police report that afternoon. I didn't call Jenna. I didn't warn her. I just added it to the list. A week later, court reconvened. It wasn't just about the forged will now. Bruce filed an emergency motion to freeze the estate until the identity theft was investigated. Jenna's lawyer looked panicked. He whispered to her the whole time. She didn't look so polished anymore. Her roots were showing. Her lips trembled every time Bruce spoke. Then Greg stood up again, this time with a printed timeline. He showed the judge the overlapping dates between the fake will and the fake credit cards. She used our router, he said, pointing to a tech report. I checked the logs. The IP matches. Jenna snapped. He's lying. He's just mad I caught him cheating. Everyone stared at her. Greg didn't even flinch. He's divorcing you, I said calmly from the bench. Not the other way around. Jenna lunged toward me. Actually lunged. Security pulled her back. The judge yelled so loud the bailiff stepped in. She screamed. You ruined my life, Amanda. I didn't move. I just looked at her and said, no. You did. After that, a restraining order was put in place. She wasn't allowed near the house or me. But she still found ways to play dirty. 2 weeks later, I came home to find the backyard completely trashed. Someone had dumped 3 bags of raw meat near the shed. Summer heat turned it rancid fast. Flies were everywhere. The smell was unbearable. The police took a report. I had security cameras, but the footage cut out between 2:17 and 3:02 a.m. Bruce reviewed it with me. Looks like someone hacked your system. The footage blackout lined up exactly with when the meat was dumped. I was done being passive. I hired a private investigator the next day. Her name was Rena. Former military. Straight shooter. She took one look at my situation and said, "This isn't just family drama. This is obsession." She started digging. It didn't take long. Jenna had applied for 3 more loans in my name, denied, thank God. She'd also tried to change the address on my old insurance policies. It was systematic. She was trying to erase me. Rena kept digging. Then she found something neither of us expected. Jenna's lawyer? He wasn't licensed in Missouri. Not anymore. He'd been suspended 3 years earlier for falsifying court documents in a probate case. His record was buried in the Kansas City courts, but it was real. Bruce filed a motion to have all of his previous filings reviewed. Everything Jenna had done through him, every signature, every document, was now officially under legal scrutiny. I wasn't just fighting for my mom's house anymore. I was untangling a web of lies Jenna had spun for years. And I wasn't stepping back. I was just getting started. The final hearing was scheduled for a Monday morning in October. I'd been living back in Springfield for almost a year at that point. I hadn't been back to Chicago. I hadn't gone on a date. My life had turned into courtrooms, lawyers, fraud reports, and old memories. But I was ready. Bruce came in with a full binder. Rena sat behind me, silent, sharp-eyed. Greg showed up again, freshly shaven, looking like he finally stopped sleeping on the couch. Jenna walked in last. She looked like hell. Her hair was greasy. She wore cheap black flats and a wrinkled blouse. No makeup this time. No lawyer either. He'd been banned from court until his credentials were officially reviewed. She was alone. The judge walked in and went straight to business. He laid out the facts. The original, notarized will. The forged version. The IP logs. The hacked security system. The raw meat. The stolen identity. Then he looked straight at Jenna and said, "You abused your position of power, falsified legal documents, attempted to commit financial fraud, and retaliated against your sister in ways that are both cruel and criminal. This court is appalled." He paused. "Not only is Amanda restored as executor and heir, but Jenna Harmon is hereby referred for criminal prosecution on multiple counts: fraud, attempted identity theft, and forgery." You could have heard a pin drop. Then it got better. Because Bruce, that wonderful old man, pulled out one last piece of paper. He said, "Your Honor, my client also requests financial restitution for the damage to the home, the stolen credit usage, and emotional distress caused by Ms. Harmon's actions. The judge nodded. Approved. Total, $48,000. Payable by Jenna. That night I sat on the porch of Mom's house, legs tucked under me, sipping tea. I thought it would feel better. The victory. The justice. And yeah, it felt good. But it also felt empty in places. I missed my mom. I missed the version of Jenna that used to braid my hair when we were kids. I missed the years we could never get back. But I didn't regret what I did. She crossed the line. And I finished it. 6 months later, Jenna was arrested. Turns out she kept trying. She forged a check from Greg's business account. He pressed charges. She took a plea deal. 2 years probation. A $10,000 fine. And her record? No longer clean. Her husband finalized the divorce. Got full custody of the kids. She moved in with their old babysitter. Yes. Really. Last I heard, she was working part-time at a call center on the edge of town. No one in the family speaks to her. As for me? I fixed up the house. Painted every room. Made Mom's bedroom into an office. Got a new job working remote for a Chicago-based logistics firm. I even started dating again. But I kept one thing. That folder labeled emergency? It's still in the closet. Still right where Mom left it. Sometimes I take it out, just to remember. Because in the middle of the worst betrayal I've ever known, Mom had left me a secret weapon. And Jenna? She thought I was just the help. Turns out, the help knew exactly where the bodies were buried. And how to bury her right back, with the truth, the law, and a little bit of fire.